Welcome everyone, welcome to Kamandag MTB. Today we have a quick tutorial on how to convert a 140 mil fork down to 120 mil. Well, Marco, don't you want more travel? Well, I do, but quite frankly, I have all the travel that I need already with my two enduro bikes. So with this fork, after converting to 120, it's going straight to this beauty right here. So this is my Norco hardtail. Once we drop that 120 Rockshox Revelation on this bike, it's gonna turn into a nice little trail slayer. So the idea is you replace your fork's air shaft to the desired travel, and essentially that's how you switch out the travel of your fork. 120 mil air shaft that's actually compatible with both a 26, 27.5 and a 29er. So that's what I have right there. Okay, so what we have here are some of the items that you'll need to perform this conversion. Obviously you'll need some grease, a 24 mil socket, your air shaft, right? Your air shaft with appropriate travel, the travel that you're going for. I also bought a 15 weight Rockshox suspension fluid, a C-clip flyer, which I had to order off of eBay because quite frankly, who keeps one of those in their toolbox, right? And finally, a syringe. So there you go. And one more thing, I will link up the Rockshox manual down below. So definitely, use it for reference. So now we're ready to start working on this. So the first thing you want to do is release all air. There you go. Now you got to be careful because sometimes there's still a lot of air left. So what you want to do is grab, something to depress this with. That's not good. So now with a 24 mil socket, you want to loosen your air shaft bolt. This is also a good time for you to add a token if you feel like it. So now we're ready to start working on removing the lowers. So you want to tilt your fork so that you have access to these two bolts down here. So my Rockshox Revelation fork has a rebound adjustment knob right there. Some of the Rockshox model will have a pinch bolt, so all you have to do is loosen it. This one does not have it, so all you need to do is pull it out, and it looks like that. So now we're ready to loosen the two bolts that is holding the lowers down. So this particular fork uses a 5 mil Allen. So you don't want to take this out all the way. What we need to do is we need to hammer this a little bit, tap it a little bit to really loosen the lowers. Okay, it's worth noting that your damper side, so this is the side that has your damper control, the one with the blue knob has a red bolt, whereas the air side, which has your air shaft, has just a standard black bolt. So it's good for us to know that. Probably help us out later. So now that I've loosened the two bolts, in order for us to release the lowers, you really have to kind of tap this. There you go. Oh. Okay, this is a good time for you to put a bucket to make sure that you catch any oil that's dripping. There you go. I felt that release. All right, now that we've got the bolts out, you can see there's still a lot of oil that's draining. Getting ready to really remove the lowers now. So now, you know, all you need to do is just really take it down. You don't really want to force anything. It should come out fairly smoothly on its own. There you go. Perfect. So as you can see, you have the damper side right here, and you have the Airshaft side here on the right. All right, so now that you've removed your lower, this is a good time to do a really good cleaning of your lower. You know, if you haven't done a lower service on your fork, this is a good time to replace the seals and everything. So go ahead and clean out your stanchions. All right, now that you've kind of drained all your oil and you've cleaned out your uppers and your lower and the rest of your fork, you want to put this up again so you have a good access to your air shaft. I've never really worked with a C-clip, you know, before, so I'm trying to figure out how to take this off. So what I did was I pushed down the air shaft all the way so that we don't damage anything. So this is that C-clip pliers that I was talking about earlier. It's something that I had to special order. Kind of have to be very careful because there's a lot of oil still, and you don't want that oil splashing on your face. Okay, so I think I figured out how to do this. So we're gonna push this down, and there you go. So now it's clear. Now we can take off the clip. All right, now we got the C-clip out. Now it's just a matter of pulling out the old air shaft. We've gotten the C-clip out. Now all we need to do is remove the air shaft. And this goes like that. So here's the old air shaft that we pulled out, and here's the new one. Obviously we're going down from 140 mil travel all the way down to 120. That's why this one's a lot shorter. The only thing we need to do now is just really kind of transfer how everything is set up here. We're just going to transfer it to the newer one. So I'll just pull it out like this, just being very careful not to mess up anything. Now that I've transferred everything to the new air shaft, that's really how it's supposed to look like. And this is the most important part now, is making sure that this air shaft is very well greased. As you can tell, there's a ton of grease in there, and that's what you want. Before we put it back, we need to make sure that it's got a ton of grease as well. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to dab a ton of grease all over this air shaft. Just like so. You want to really put a whole bunch, including on the shaft itself, all the assembly parts, the seals, all the rings. You want to be quite liberal with the grease. Now that we have it on, it's nice and greased. Let's put this back in. There you go. Okay, now now we've gotten the air shaft, the new air shaft assembly in, back in the upper part. It's time to put this C-clip back on. There you go, got it in. So now that we're done with replacing the air shaft and cleaning your uppers, really the only thing we have left now is to start to put back the lowers back into the fork. But before you do that, this is a good time for us to put a little bit of grease up here on your seals. Now it's ready to come back. It's got to be very careful that you don't damage air shafts. Alright, we got it in. Now it's just get all the way up. So move it up a little. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to tilt this up a little bit. Okay, we're almost done with our procedure. The last thing to do is put a little bit of oil. So for this particular fork, it's 15 weight Rockshox suspension oil that we're using. Obviously there's a different recommendations for each fork. For this particular one that I'm using, they recommend 5 cc or 5 ml. Put it on my fork. Okay, so now that we put the oil in, we're pretty much done. The only thing left now is to put the bolts back on and the rebound adjuster. The red bolt goes onto the drive side. And the black bolt goes onto the Airshaft side. Alright, so we're pretty much done here. The last thing we need to do is just pop this rebound adjuster knob, pop it back in, wipe down the fork, get rid of any excess oil. Alright, so I lied, we're not done yet. Obviously the last thing we got to do is put this bolt back on the air side. Also what you want to do is put some grease on this one, a lot of grease on this, because you don't want this seizing out, right? Okay, and the last thing we ought to do now is pump this bad boy up with air. You know, whatever preferred setting you like. Alright, so I think we are done. There you go, a complete air shaft replacement. What we did was we replaced the air shaft. We dropped down the travel from 140 mil to 120 mil. So essentially this was a kind of an all-mountain fork. We're converting it more to a trail setup. So this is my Norco Charger hardtail. We're trying to convert this into more of a trail bike. So now that we've converted this fork into a 120 travel. It can now be installed in this bike, which, man, I'm excited. I'm just really excited. Okay, so if you have any questions, just feel free to drop it down in the comments, and have a great day. Thank you. Okay, so my Revelation fork has a red rebound adjustment knob. You really want to take that off. Some of the other Rockshox model will have a pinch bolt on it.